Meanwhile, I'm the biggest DC movie hater. Remember me? Why we reviewing these movies? Boo, boo. Remember me? I'm that guy, the DC hater.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Heroes Peak Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, and I'm here with my super friends. We have Mike of the Wet Basement. How are you, Aquaman?
You really just say enough.
You know who that is, though.
I know who that is. It's not PC in 2023. I might as well be Black Bolt.
Black Lightning? That's right.
Or Black Lightning, yeah, Black Lightning.
Mike,
yeah, I'm good.
Aquaman,
I'm good. How you guys doing?
You are the $1 billion DCU character here today, so you are welcome.
That's true.
And we have a Thomas Wayne down here. James, how are you doing? Alternative
The
murder.
best
Batman.
Wayne. The best Wayne. Thomas Wayne.
In this world where Batman kills, does it matter that Thomas Wayne does too? Would he be a more different Batman if he was normal, just a dude? Less Batman.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm doing good, Chris. I'm doing good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. We're kind of just getting going. We're a little behind on this review. It's okay. Nobody's watching this movie anyway. It's The Flash.
But hold on, we knew our 445 subs were waiting for our review on this.
We're only 55 away from 500.
And I'll see some of you at Comic-Con. But anyway.
Yeah,
all right.
Remember, don't forget, we have 800 followers on TikTok that are waiting for
content. All right, so we'll have to make some TikTok content to go along with this. Anyway, so of course we are here to talk about The Flash, the brand new DCEU, the last gaseous emissions of the dying corpse that is this movie universe.
Gaseous emissions. Jesus.
You guys ever see that Daniel Radcliffe movie where he's the dead body? He floats up on the island.
Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man?
Yes.
Yep, that's where the DCU is
I thought that movie was hilarious.
Yeah, shout out to Daniel Radcliffe doing weird shit on his after his Harry Potter stuff. Got some guns.
He's in that weird Yellow Jackets TV show too.
Is he?
Is he?
Because I watched Guns Akimbo.
No,
the Guns one. Where
I'm sorry. Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe. Yes, Yellow Jackets. He's on there.
He's also on the show where he plays like an angel in heaven, like they work in an office.
Yes.
That show is good too.
All right, we're doing really well talking about The Flash here.
Wait, there was a Flash.
Right.
Oops, my bad. That's Elijah Wood, not Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh no, those two, they hate getting mixed up. They know this.
Man, dude, I gotta flash the racist GIF when I do the
but that's a score against me. I'll take that.
Can't tell those short white boys apart.
No, man. Next, you're gonna tell me actually, it was Tobey Maguire. Sorry, my bad.
I'm gonna go out there and try to get mistaken for one of these guys. That's my goal. All right,
wait, there was a Flash movie.
There was a Flash movie
because I saw a Justice League Light movie with the Flash in it.
That's true. Alternative universe Flash. All right. So anyway.
I saw Batman versus Zod. That's what I saw.
1,000 times.
BVZ.
Superwoman of Tomorrow.
That's right.
Superwoman of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Supergirl All Stars.
So we have a screenplay by Christina Hodson of Birds of Prey and Bumblebee fame, both of which I enjoyed. Both of those movies.
Good script in Bumblebee. I like it.
That's right. This is directed by Andy Muschietti, who is announced to direct the next Superman movie already by James Gunn. He must have really liked this movie more.
Wait, I thought Gunn was going to direct the Superman movie.
What?
Yeah, he is. You're thinking of Batman. He's scheduled to do the Batman movie.
That's right. He's doing the Batman in the James Gunn universe.
Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yes, you're right. Correct. You're right.
But hold on. But this gentleman here, Anthony Muschietti. He's done the 2 It movies also.
Right.
He's got a little backstory.
That's like my daughter's favorite movie is that first It movie. She watches.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. No, she's got good taste in horror.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
All right. So this is starring twice over Ezra Miller, of course. Can't get that man to go away for the life of us. Michael Keaton, who, if you were watching the marketing, you would think this is a Michael Keaton movie. Sasha Calle, who was just someone actually new, a new character, a new actor coming in to this universe, and the digital face of Michael Shannon, because you wouldn't want a Flash villain in this movie. So we have a budget of $200 million, which is about average at this point. But unfortunately for the Flash, that means he is not making any money right now because we have a total of $249 million worldwide. And it's only been a couple weeks, but this thing has been tanking week to week. It is now tracking to be one of the, if not the biggest, busts in movie history. And at this time, it is tracking $40 million lower than Black Adam, a movie we all made fun of quite a bit.
Somewhere, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is laughing.
I think we all gave Black Adam a C, didn't we? Like around the C area.
We did,
because it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't.
It was very bland, and
it didn't live up to the hype that The Rock was pushing on all over social media, right?
I think I'm gonna divert one way compared to you guys on my grade, but go ahead.
So maybe we needed a Henry Cavill appearance at the end of this movie, right? That's what makes a good DC.
Gal Gadot.
Gadot. Oh shit! I almost forgot she was in this. All right. Anyway,
and Ben Affleck.
She was in it for what? 2 minutes, right? She came in, she smiled, and she left.
But you heard her music.
That's
they
true.
made sure to stick her music in there.
Yeah, my daughter watched it. She said the same thing too. Of course, they got to throw her theme song.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this: is we can make a theme song like that, but for Brooks, so when she finally shows up, it's gonna be.
Yeah, I think I can find something.
We could definitely do that.
Yes.
All right. Story. This thing has a story, apparently. This has the Flash, a sort of quasi version of the Flashpoint, which is the most famous and the only Flash storyline, apparently, that multimedia likes to use, which is Flash goes back in time to save his mother and screws the shit out of the universe. Very basic, straightforward. And it happened again. Surprise. So, all right.
Surprise. I like how you said that.
Let's talk about this in general, because the Flashpoint, the story itself is a solid story. And I think we all, if we do our overviews, which we'll in a second, there was heart to this movie. I thought there was heart there. And then
third parts, yes.
And I was surprised at that. I didn't expect to feel anything, but there was some really, really good core to this, even if there's a lot of weird stuff around there. But is this really where you want to start this superhero? Like this story? I think it was kind of forced by the way the DCU was built or where it is at this point. What did you guys think of this movie, the choice of the Flashpoint, and were you expecting what you got out of it? I'm going to let James go first.
I think, so this, by the way, you didn't mention it earlier, when you're introducing the directors and people behind the making of the movie, but also the fact that this movie has been in production development since like 2014. So it wasn't like a movie that was developed 2-3 years ago after JL, both the Whedon or the Zack Snyder extended cut. This was around for a while. At least the script was. It's been around for almost a decade. But it kept being revamped, retooled because of the shenanigans that's going on with the DCU and all this other, content. So I think at some point, and then COVID came, because they actually started filming right before COVID, and COVID, kind of ceased the production on that. And then they kind of scrapped it. So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But the plot, the narrative of the story was finally tooled in about 2021. Once we realized that they needed a new jumping point for the DCU. This is before James Gunn and everyone came on board, right? They realized this is not going to work. We've got This is BVS was a failure. JL was a failure. We need something different. And you can read different articles and you can believe whatever theories it is. I think they kind of knew that they wanted to reset the DCU, not to this drastic point, but they needed a story from the comics that can help them reset a lot of things about the main characters. And they didn't know at the time they had to reset the entire DCU. They just knew that they wanted something with Flash that would be interesting enough. And I think, Chris, you're about to say the point that I'm going to say too is, as a first movie for a character, you don't want it to be its major milestone story.
You don't want to kill him in the second movie?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
You can skip the origin story. Yes, you don't have always give you the origin story, but you don't want to go straight into like Batman Bane, right? You don't want to get to let's take the character of Batman, for example. Well known. His beginning story. At some point he becomes a grizzled guy. He's got a bunch of the Bane storyline with Batman is about 2/3 or halfway into the character's history. Mm-hmm. You don't want to start your first Batman movie with introducing Bane and Batman getting the Nightfall storyline. That's just ridiculous. That makes no sense. To Flash's character, I felt like they used a storyline, not because of the character Flash, because of the bigger DC issues that they were having.
Exactly.
And then once, DC decided, okay, we're definitely moving in a different direction, they then went back and they decided we're going to follow the DC 52 storyline. I don't know if you guys can see my back, where he resets the entire continuity and he brings, he streamlines the characters. And unfortunately, it's a huge disservice to the character Flash. Despite how, this particular movie, good core, good story, here and there, this was the wrong story to have really used for its first movie. And regardless what happens in the future, 10 years from now, when they actually do a different Flash, we're always going to go back to this movie and be like, yeah, this was terrible decision. Could have done better. Mike looks like he's ready to chomp on my words, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I just have a couple things to add to what you're saying. Spot on. And for his first, I agree with you 100%. For his first solo movie, they made some terrible choices, because anyone who is not a Snyder bro, basically, going to this movie will be totally lost. Who's this Zod guy? Why is he important? What's up with the Batman guys? With the Affleck. You know what I mean?
Oh, they also link him to Man of Steel.
Yeah, there's too much tied to the other movies for his solo movie. In comparison, when you look at, for example, Shang-Chi, you can watch that movie and it's a solo movie. You can watch Black Panther 1, even though he was in Civil War. You can watch Black Panther 1 as a solo movie. The style is different. It's not directly connected until basically the end of the movie, right?
Yeah, I would say the only one is Spider-Man Homecoming, but even that, it's just the existence of Tony Stark.
Yeah, and he's there for like 2 minutes. You don't really have
to know much else.
But by the way, that's a good selection, Chris, because Spider-Man Homecoming doesn't give you an origin story. It doesn't give you how he became Spider-Man. But it also doesn't put you in a position where you're fighting one of his greatest villains automatically.
Yeah, it was Vulture.
Yeah, it was Vulture. He's really a low level villain.
Right. Yeah, so it's like 1/3 into his story, but it's not like the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and yeah, I agree with using Flashpoint for the first movie. Although I can understand why, because if they want to do this big reset or whatever.
But they didn't even do that.
Yeah,
right
they didn't do it properly. It's just, man,
they screwed that up.
Yeah,
there was so much potential for this movie, and it was like a letdown.
Yeah, they didn't choose to go hard reset. Yeah. We're going to get us to the new location, so when people see the next movie, they go, okay, now I'm in, I'm connected. No, they connected it to one of the worst Batman.
Yeah, George Clooney. Like, what the fuck? He's not even a different...
Spoilers, by the way, but Jesus.
He's not even a different universe than Michael Keaton.
I expected him to walk out with his coffee, Nespresso, and his tequila, and he like he's doing a walking commercial. Right?
All right, so this movie opens with a giant, huge action set piece. After we get some weird Flash, teenage girl, I'm hungry stuff. Weird stuff.
It's weird though because Shazam seemed to have the same issue, but none of the Justice League showed up for him. Anyway, you were saying?
But so one of the things that talked about quite a bit of this is the effects, the CGI, and you can't walk past this opening scene without talking about some of the choices. So these are the fine-tuned choices that are kind of really blow it up for me. Number one, like they set up how important Barry having food, enough calories is, and that never comes around again, right?
Yeah, he had a meter in his arm.
Special meter. Like I was like, okay, so that's gonna be important when we're fighting supervillains.
Oh God, Serena had a joke about that. I'll come back to me.
Anyway,
it was hilarious.
But also, obviously, maybe you've seen the memes of Flash putting a baby in a microwave. Technically, he does put a baby in a microwave to save it, and then takes it out at the end. But like, they did the Quicksilver unexpected. He's a speedster. They're gonna do a slow-mo thing, but some wild choices with some terrible CGI. What did you guys think of like this whole action set piece, which is basically the first quarter of the movie?
Yeah, it went on way too long. First off, like I understand you're trying to establish
his powers, what he can do, what the world is,
right?
Yeah.
But then, as much as I liked seeing Affleck, like I think Affleck is a good Batman. So I'm not gonna knock his performance. I think
he earned some more points in this movie.
He did his thing,
he did.
And I didn't mind seeing him. But technically, for a Flash movie, he was in this movie too much. Like in the beginning.
Yeah. Why did he get an action scene almost as long as the Flash got an action scene?
Right. So, but the CGI in that scene was terrible, for one. I don't know what happened. Whatever excuses they want to give, okay, whatever. But like the baby's still terrible. Like the version I saw wasn't like the best resolution. It wasn't an HD copy, but even in a non-HD copy,
it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
I saw it Dolby Digital.
The babies look like dolls. They didn't.
They were dancing babies from 1998. Like,
I saw it Dolby Digital. They look like, remember the when you're creating your first website? Yeah, Dancing Baby.
Yes, I saw that Dancing Baby on our YouTube video yesterday. God.
So it's like they could have done something like Flash goes up, saves the baby, then gets ahead of Batman, saves him off the truck, stops the truck, and like you make Flash the bigger hero. Why am I being relegated to saving the secondhand stuff when I can do this cool stuff? Like, make him the big guy, not Batman saving the world, and then Wonder Woman shows up for 2 minutes so that they can have a weird joke from Snyder Cut.
And then they run the same lasso joke.
Yeah, again. Exactly.
Like,
yeah, I don't mind that. I think I have a bigger issue.
I wouldn't mind it if it wasn't a repeat.
Right.
Yeah. I have a big issue with this entire segment of the movie. First of all, it's definitely the worst part of the movie. Second, it does nothing to advance the character Flash, because in totality, there's no lesson that he learned or didn't learn that he would eventually learn in the final arc of the movie. If you look at all the events that occurred, from him saving the babies and him getting his calories and him talking to Bruce and Gal Gadot and Alfred, and he doesn't apply any of that to anywhere else in his movie.
Nope.
It's like, it's just a throwaway moment just to try to show us special, like you said it, Chris, his powers, which actually pales in comparison to the third arc, the final battle, and in the movie, because that's real more, because they show you his power sets in the third act better than this whole freaking gas line, hospital blowing up. And after seeing this movie, what now? Probably 4 times.
Wow, you must really love this.
Yeah. No, I don't. And we're going to argue this a little bit later. just to prepare for this podcast. This was a bad portion of the movie. This was a terrible portion of the movie. Everything about it was bad. Storyline, acting. Yes, Mike, you said the Batfleck part was kind of cool. Yes, it was kind of cool, but it did nothing to advance. Yeah, the wrong movie.
I've said this before about other cool things that we've watched and we've talked about. Like, sometimes it's just in the wrong place. Like, no, that does not belong in The Mandalorian, or The Mandalorian does not belong in Boba Fett.
Right.
Like, cool stuff can happen, but have it in the right place makes a big difference.
Like, all of that should have been in Affleck's solo Batman film that's never coming to fruition.
Or
that's never come to fruition.
Or like James said,
or Wonder Woman 1980 or whatever.
It needs to teach Flash, or it needs to show Flash needs something or isn't doing something that he then learns to do later in the movie. It's a setup. It's supposed to be the first act that sets him up, but it's not. It's a, hey, look how cool we can make him run really fast. Okay, that's cool. Whatever. All right, so I found a little thing weird. And that is, Flash is an adult, and he's being bullied at work by other adults, technically his own age. Did anybody else find this weird?
I didn't care, honestly. My brain didn't care.
It bugged me. It really
did. It bugged me that the fact that he was working, and yet he walks outside of his office, and all of a sudden he's right in the middle of like the New York Times or LA Times press hearing about his dad.
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
nobody cares about
his
this
coworkers.
20-year-old kid.
So I didn't realize this until I watched it with Serena today. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the two actresses, the male and female, that were his coworkers, were YouTube content creators and TV show personalities.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, so they threw these actors in these roles because, again, they're very popular online, social media.
They were trying to.
I had no clue.
Yeah,
I didn't know in a movie theater. I didn't know, but she was like, yes. This is a guy who does YouTube, and this is a woman who does blah, blah, blah.
That makes more sense that way, but still.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Plus, they show up as alternative versions in the next universe. It's supposed to give you a hint that it's an alternative universe. But still, like, I just found the way they interacted with Barry very weird to me. But that's on top of... I need to talk about Ezra Miller's Barry. Because he plays this as a sort of... autistic.
Which Barry? You talk about the main Barry, right? The main line.
Main Barry, main timeline.
Okay.
And eventually the other Barry, actually. He plays this character, and he's played it as this almost autistic spectrum coded character. I've
said this before. Okay. You are now on my ship. Okay. Yes.
But
yes,
when he meets his younger self, who's 18, he's 5 years younger. Something like that, right?
Yeah, he's like 4 or 5 years younger, yeah.
He's like, oh shit, that is annoying. And then immediately changes the way he, like, his social anxiety doesn't go away completely, but basically cuts in half or whatever, which makes that other, coded acting feel real weird, because that means he can just turn it off because oh, yeah, I see what people are saying. This is annoying.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to disagree with you a little bit here. Sorry, that's my alarm here. Flash alarm. No, yes, it doesn't work for everyone. I think for me, I'm going to suspend disbelief that sometimes it takes a shocking... First of all, you're meeting your other self, right? You're meeting Chris or Mike 5 years ago, and he's got some of the trappings and tribulations of you and your weaknesses from 5 years ago. And sometimes you are kind of like a switch kicks in, like, fuck, like that is fucking annoying. Now, I'm not going to say it's a permanent thing. I don't think if we want to continue down this thread, mainline Barry doesn't cut back his own, like, neurodivergent tendencies 100%. He's still like kind of like, quirky. But I think the more and more he spends time with alternate Barry, you can see there is a progression of his thought process up until the third act when he's in the chrono bubble and he's like, no, dude, we can't. We have to stop. It's not going to change things. Mm. and it takes a while to get there. But I think Chris, you were probably like shocked how quick he was able to immediately realize I'm a douchebag, and I'm like, no, I can imagine seeing 10, maybe not 5 year, 10, 15-year-old younger me, and automatically realize everybody was right. Like I was a wild dude back then. But
some of it. There's one other thing, and that was the Shazam effect, which is I felt when he was playing younger Barry, he was playing way too young. The whole pillow.
That's different.
The whole pillow
don't
fort
do
thing,
that. Don't do that.
No, the whole pillow fort thing. Man, he was acting like he was 10. He was not an 18-year-old kid. He was way underplaying it, and I just felt like Ezra Miller was his ability to
but you have to imagine 18. Hold on, younger version of Barry Allen's never seen superpowers.
Right.
It's not about superpowers.
Doesn't exist in
real quick?
In their world.
Just
go for it.
Okay, so a couple things. I'll excuse younger Barry's behavior because of a couple things. His mom didn't die, so he didn't have that trauma. Both his parents are still together. He lives with the weirdest roommates I've ever seen. So he's really weird himself, probably. He didn't really have to worry about money, stuff like that. So he's actually living a pretty good life, Mm-hmm. So he kind of reminded me. I think he had affluenza. You know that term that they use for the rich kids that go to jail.
Yeah.
So
he can kill people.
Yeah. So I think that's what he was suffering from. That made him so obnoxious. So I'll allow it.
Yeah, Chris. Like I think you're thinking too fixated on the fact that this Barry is supposed to be the exact Barry 5 years younger, but in reality, it's not. It's a different Barry with different experiences than this Barry, who, although 5 years older, had a whole world of differences with superpowers. His mom died, and Zod, Justice League, and what's his name from Darkseid's groups and Steppenwolf. Like it's drastically different.
All right, so Barry has to.
Chris is like, all right.
So Barry finally gets a date and immediately. Well, I do want to say cool out of costume stuff, going through the wall, getting the beers.
Yeah,
that was kind of fun. A little fun.
That was cool.
I love good out of costume
hijinks,
superhero power hijinks.
Same.
Yes, exactly. Same. But she gives him an idea of how to fix his past, and he just runs back in time. No struggle. Didn't have to eat anything. He's just barely an inconvenience here. He's back in time.
That was a problem.
But we finally get a thing that's going to set us up for the future, which is, hey, I'm going to change something, and even if it's just a minor thing, I'm just going to not forget the tomatoes. We're going to put those in Mom's cart. And then he's like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to run back in time. And he gets kicked out of the timeline. And everything from here on goes haywire. So I guess we already talked about Barry interacting with himself and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's other things you guys want to say.
Nope.
All right.
Not me.
So finding out this world is different.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
So we find out this world is different. They have a good, funny bit, which is the Back to the Future thing.
Starship Troopers, by the way, for those who caught that.
Which basically tells you the world is different because Michael J. Fox was not in Back to the Future, and makes a big deal. This is a world with no heroes, but suddenly Zod, it was all good until Zod attacked.
Yeah.
All right. So, and we finally, this is where, wait, did he switch superpowers before or after this?
Before Zod attacked, he switched powers.
Okay, so I did miss that. So they do a power switch because Barry's trying to give younger Barry powers.
10 powers. So Barry still thinks that he's got to, this is his still main timeline and he needs everything to happen according to how they're happening. So he's like, you need to get these powers.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
But he ends up transferring powers instead.
Correct. Yes.
What did you guys think of this whole transfer powers? Barry goes through a discovery period. blowing stuff up, naked in the street. Well, did that all work for you? Was that fun? Was that interesting, or did you think it was kind of shoved in?
Mike, we'll hear Mike first.
Yeah, there were some funny moments there for sure, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I chuckled a few times with young Barry figuring out his powers and stuff. So, no major issues there. And
like the entire band falling out of the back of the van, one instrument at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
Talk about extending a joke.
I know.
Just a little too long.
No, I got that immediately when he said it. No. Okay, I don't know, Mike, you're done. Because this is where I actually started enjoying the movie. Mm-hmm. Take out all of the shenanigans that happened in the first, quarter act of the movie, and get me to the point where he's now interacting in this alternate universe that he doesn't quite know yet. That's alternate universe. And it's interesting seeing him playing off the other version of Barry. I actually enjoyed it because he gets to see this other universe, and he gets to slowly realize things are amiss, and he doesn't quite know why. He's like Eric Stoltz is the Michael J. Fox. Right. By the way, but those of you who don't know this, there was in our Earth Prime 1 here, Earth 616, Michael J. Fox was not originally supposed to be Teen Wolf, and neither was
not Teen Wolf.
I'm sorry, not Teen Wolf. Marty McFly, and also Tom Cruise wasn't originally supposed to be Maverick and Top Gun. Yeah. So I like how they played these alternate what if, like Marvel has what ifs. So this is like a weird a sub DC what if too. It's kind of cute.
AI better get to making these movies.
So I actually like these events. Maybe others didn't, but I enjoyed this. I enjoyed seeing them going through these shenanigans before the Zod arrival, and them realizing that they're in a different universe, and that he thinks that he needs this version of Barry to get his power, so that so everything can continue to happen the way he wanted it to happen. And to me, it was funny. Yeah, I like it. Whatever you want to say about Ezra Miller in real life as a person,
this was the Flash.
I think this is where he shined.
This was the Flash movie of the Flash movie.
Right.
Yes.
The first act is Justice League Light.
Yes.
The third act is the Justice League alternate universe version, and the middle part here is the actual Flash movie.
Yeah. So there's two portions of this Flash movie. Well, 2.5. This portion, then the final act where they're in the bubble, and we're going to get to that, and then there's the epilogue, the end.
All right.
But yeah.
So we have to find out what's going on with this.
Wait, hold on, Chris. Before you're expositioning this, what was your take? Did you hate it? No, hold on, because he's leading us to these storylines, but he's not telling us how he feels about it.
Didn't even see the movie.
Yeah, I didn't. No, it's fine. It worked, but like with a lot of things in the DC universe, they just dragged on too much, like an SNL skit in that way. Like, it's like, oh, this is funny. I'm liking it. I'm like, okay. All right, guys. I get it. Oh, there's another one. Yep. I get the joke. I get the joke. Right.
I'm not going to be... Yeah, go ahead.
Like you said, it's the Flash movie. They wanted to do a Flash discovery of his powers set, which we never got, right, in the beginning. So it kind of felt like... Hey,
an origin story without giving us an origin story.
Right, exactly. I did like every time regular Earth Barry tried to tell him something, younger Barry would just go and do, and obviously screw up exactly what he was going to tell him. Like, that was...
Love that.
I like that joke. I like that bit. That's where, hey, I'm just too fast for my own good. That's good. That's what's funny. I like that.
And he kind of puts us in a position as, what if you became Flash? What the first things that you would do? Yeah. You go crazy. Speedy Gonzalez, like all that other
like in the beginning when he's standing waiting for the guy to make his sandwich. Like, isn't it funnier if he just goes Flash and makes his own sandwich?
No. Not for me.
Really? I just feel like him just standing there like a normal person being annoyed by how slow this guy actually is, like, doesn't feel like enough of a comedy bit for the Flash. Like, how fast is the Flash? That a person going fast is even too slow. That's funnier to me for a Flash than I would be annoyed at that guy chatting and not making my sandwich.
Yeah, I would too. Like,
right? So
sure.
you're a normal person going at normal speed.
I would rather them show me from his point of view where it's taking forever, and they do the first Zack Snyder slow-mo that I would actually appreciate. Where they show you this lip movements and he's making the sandwich.
Right.
And you can see the Flash like doing a face palm. Then I'd be like, oh shit.
Right. That's an exaggeration of a normal activity that he finds too slow because he's the Flash, as opposed to everybody's going to find that slow and annoying. So that's what I'm saying. This was a good section, overdone.
Yeah.
All right. So we have this is our Batman Discovery section. The most important person in this movie, according to the advertising. Michael Keaton returns as returns along with half of his dialogue to this movie with the classic Batcave. He even has the Joker laughing
and the music.
Bag.
Yeah.
And the music.
The Batplane's got all the cool stuff. I know they were trying to get people like me, people who love that movie, love Michael Keaton's Batman.
They did it.
And he's great. Michael Keaton's been great in a lot of things recently.
Sorry, Christian Bale.
Right.
Michael Keaton's back on top.
But it's like, I don't know, like, did it work for me? Sort of. But sort of like, I didn't care that he was a hermit, but he was a hermit because he had saved Gotham City, which I guess that makes him the best Batman, because, hey, Gotham City's and nothing else is wrong in the world, apparently, that Batman needs to fix. He retires. Alfred is obviously dead, and he doesn't give a shit about his surroundings, so he's like a bachelor. And he understands time travel and alternate realities, which is the most important
thing. Wait, hold on. Are you about to guide Mike and I into your point of where you think like this didn't work? The Michael Keaton intro? Is that what you're getting at?
Again, I'm just kind of sitting there like feeling. Were they trying to? Were they just like dangling keys in front of me the whole time? Was WB going, hey, shiny, you like it the whole time? And
no.
You don't think so?
You
do not think?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
I don't think so.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
I think this was the best. I mean, you kind of said it. Michael Keaton was probably.
He's
they
great.
Marketed the hell out of it.
He's always great.
At the detriment of Flash, and we agreed that the faults of this movie stems from the fact that this is not a Flash movie, and Ezra Miller and the CGI around the Flash character, blah 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 blah. It's some CGI with Supergirl too. But the positives of this movie, at least for me, is the introduction of this version of Batman and how this version of Batman guides Flash on his journey all the way up to the third act, while also giving us the dangling keys, as you would say, but giving us the Easter eggs of the Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman. And I think that was tremendous that they made it, in my mind, it was like seamless. Like they wove, they weaved Tim Burton's Michael Keaton's Batman into a movie that just showed us Batflick in the beginning doing Batflick shit. Ben Affleck was doing his version of Batman, which was like 2023 version. Now we're getting the 1989 Batman with the rubber Gore-Tex looking, But even before that, you see an old hermit looking guy in a kitchen doing his little mixed martial arts against a metahuman, right? I love that. I actually love that. It kind of reminded me of CW did this probably better than this movie, The Infinite Crisis, when they actually, Kevin Conroy, rest in peace, played that version of Batman, and they had to go to his universe to get, long story, that's a different movie. But Mike, you've seen it. I don't know if Chris has seen it, but the old grizzled iconic Batman now in a world of metahumans, and he's like the sage giving the wisdom, the advice. I love this part of this movie. To me, this is when I like movie theater. You're sitting back, you're watching like the Microwave Baby. Now he's traveling in time. Now there's two Barrys, and then Michael Keaton's on the screen, and then you prop up, you move the popcorn, you move the soda, like you lean forward, like that meme. Third quarter, fourth quarter. That was me. Like I'm not gonna apologize for that, and I wasn't the only one. Like there was younger people too that were in the audience when Michael Keaton was first introduced. Everybody collectively was like, "Oh shit! Now we're into this movie," and it's not a dangling keys and giving me like nostalgic moments or Easter eggs. It felt natural to this movie because in this universe he existed. He existed
until he says,
clean Gotham.
"You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." And then I'm like,
"All right, fuck." But hold on. Yeah, now we're getting we're gonna get to the third act and the problems with the third act in the writing. But this portion of this movie I thought was brilliant, and I don't know who to give credit to.
All right,
writer, director, whomever.
So I do agree for the most part. The only part I
Chris is like,
so what I don't what I don't like is that I don't think, because when you think back on like Batman Returns, he was very involved with Wayne Corporation, very involved against stopping Max Schreck as Bruce Wayne. I don't want to believe that he saved Gotham and then decided I don't want to talk to anybody ever again. Like I have a feeling, like I would like to think that this version of Bruce Wayne would have gone back to Wayne Corporation and ran it and did things.
They did the same thing in Dark Knight.
Disagree.
They did the same thing in Dark Knight Rises. Like this is another.
Chris, yes.
Right.
Yes. Chris, no. Oh, and Mike, no. There's real life characters that they will show you that they've achieved peace, and then they went to recluse, like Howard Hughes or whomever.
I know that,
like,
but when you look back at the history of this Bruce Wayne in the other movies, he's not that guy, right? But okay, so we do that. So he's a recluse, but the rest of it works for me. The rest of it I thought was fantastic. I thought Michael Keaton was the best part of this entire movie. So
yeah, he was great.
It was section was the most.
Yeah, let's just focus on this section. Yeah,
was the most intelligent part of the movie.
Well, this is where actual Barry learns lessons. Yeah. He has a heart-to-heart with him, or they both kind of have a sort of short lesson learning section where they're like, and he kind of gets this Bruce Wayne back in the saddle again. And
also, he imparts knowledge on this younger version on Barry. Like he's now the old sage telling the young superhero lessons I've learned. In fact, there's a moment with the pasta. He gives us exposition of his entire movie
to the multiverse. It's the multiverse.
Great
to me, it's actually better than every Marvel version. Loki, Doctor Strange, Spider-Verse.
It's the best, most direct explanation. Yeah. Very, very succinct,
yes.
Very easy to understand. Okay, so next would be Superwoman. So they're looking for Superman. They think they found him. But
wait, hold on. You forgot to mention Zod now arrives, and now they need to get...
Well, they went to Batman because Zod arrived. Yeah. They went to Batman because Zod already arrived. And we've only got a few minutes left here, so I'm trying to speed up here.
True.
So
sorry.
They run to Russia, where they think Superman is trapped in a Russian prison, but lo and behold, it's a girl.
Haram.
We're woke.
So woke.
All right. But Barry says, I'm not going to leave her. Like, Batman's just going to leave this woman in a giant concrete prison in Siberia.
Yeah, that wasn't the mission. I don't blame him. That was not the mission.
But Barry's like, no, I think I'm going to help her out. And lucky he did, because, hey, look at that. It's a Kryptonian who kicks some ass, isn't going to help them at first, but then decides to help them once Zod kills some people, whatever.
Yeah.
What did we think of Sasha Calle's Superwoman? Did we like everything about this character? I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be brief. Real quick, Mike. I loved her. I had no clue whatever role she had prior to this. nothing. But on screen, she was fantastic.
Very dynamic, very interesting,
very dynamic. I wish they utilized her a little bit more, but then when you watch the entire movie in its totality, you realize, there's other weaknesses, whatever. But she was fantastic. She had a great moment with Zod in the final act. She had some pretty good moments with Flash and Michael Keaton's Batman. And
she is new to the screen, very new to the screen.
And it's kind of sad knowing that this is going to be all wiped out with the new DCU, and we may never see her again.
Cross your fingers. They are making a super.
I hope so. I hope they
movie.
bring her back.
But James Gunn hasn't said, other than who.
The new Batman and the new Superman.
Blue Beetle is definitely the only one that's going to be in a new universe.
Until it bombs in the theater.
Right.
Yeah.
Aquaman. We still have Aquaman sitting out there.
So she was fantastic. I don't know, Mike, you agree?
I have no disagreements there. She was fantastic. So.
Yeah, her delivery, even in sometimes it's hard to be that screamy delivery. What did you, when she yelled, what did you do?
Yeah, what did you do? Because we saw it in the trailer, and then it lost its impact. Yeah, it lost its impact in the actual movie, but there's so many things that were happening prior to that moment and after that moment that you're like, cool. Yeah, this is the moment we've seen in the Super Bowl commercial.
Very cool fight scene with her and Zod. A few.
Yeah, all of
those. Yeah, a few of those. And,
all right.
By the way, shout out to Zod's, the monster, not the monster, the giant Kryptonian and Fiora. Love seeing these two back. But go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, but not the actor, obviously.
Yeah.
They just
not the actor.
They didn't do anything with the actors. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, Flash gets his powers back, and we get our big, giant finale brawl. What did you guys think of was it cool? I know it was all Desertscape. Flash gets to do some cool power stuff. Did you guys dig this? Obviously, I think it's better than the opening action set piece.
I agree. Listen, I've seen it 4 times now. I'm going to say yes. I think it's right up there with Man of Steel's third act. Probably surpassed Man of Steel's third act. It falls short only of Wonder Woman's Trench. I forgot the name of it, but
No Man's Land.
Yeah,
No Man's Land.
No Man's Land. To me, that's been the pinnacle of DCEU's action sequence. Then comes, I think, this right above Man of Steel third act, and forget anything else.
Right.
And the rest of DCU. I liked it. I thought it was great. Obviously, now we get to the point where they failed the first time around.
All right, so this is where this movie gets interesting, is the idea of them discovering that no matter what they do, they can't fix it. And young Flash keeps going, and he can't stop. Old Flash can't stop young Flash. And blah, 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 blah. Barry tries to learn a lesson, but not fast enough, because we get, finally, a Flash bad guy. The Dark Flash, right?
Yeah.
Dark Flash? Is that what the hell he's called?
Dark Flash, yeah.
Which is what
could have been Reverse Flash, but whatever.
Which caused this in the first place because he knocked Barry out of the time stream so that he exists. So in this weird paradox idea.
Time paradox, yeah.
Right.
My favorite.
What did you guys think? This time bubble where Barry gets to see really bad CGI versions of his entire life, and or of whatever the point in time he's looking at, and then has this discussion with himself multiple times over. Did you guys think this hit? Did this work as the culmination of the idea of the Flash? Hey, you have to accept the past as it is, and you have to just kind of weather it and move forward. Did you guys think this worked?
The only thing that didn't really, I can understand the motivation to try and fix it over and over when you have that power to try. It just, what I thought was odd, and maybe upon another viewing or so, it'll make more sense to me, was that it was younger Barry trying to fix it. When I had just mentioned earlier that he was not the one with the trauma. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it didn't make sense, the motivation for him to be the one to want to fix the need to fix, as opposed to older Barry. I would think older Barry would have been the one to say, no, I have to keep going. I have to try and fix this. And then younger Barry maybe smartening up and going, hey, this isn't the way. You know what I mean?
They tried to link it because younger Barry overhears old Barry and Bruce talk about his mom dying.
His mom dying,
I think that's supposed to be the kicker, is he wants to prevent this from happening because if this happens, his mom dies.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry. I was going to say that I disagree with you because I think it makes more sense that they did narratively the way they did it, where the older Barry is easier to go back. No, not. Older Barry realizes the fact that all this time traveling stuff doesn't work, whereas younger Barry is new to this whole thing. Like he's grew up with his mom, so he's never had that loss. So to him, it feels more like immediate to him, knowing that if this doesn't work, he loses his mom. Whereas older Barry's already lost his mom, has already seen tragedy, and he's like, you know what? I tried this like a couple times. I'm ready to call it quits. So this is the part of the movie where you're supposed to feel like Barry is evolving. He's becoming wiser, and we may not agree with the four of us on exactly if it works or not, but I think this makes sense for me.
Okay. I get it. Yeah.
Overall, I thought the idea worked. I just wish this was more central. Like this Dark Flash was something throughout and not just, hey, he sort of appeared earlier and now he's here now. Like he didn't do anything, like he wasn't a consistent back of your mind, what is this thing happening? Why is this thing constantly showing up and affecting the world? Plus the fact that, I don't know, the fact that the Flash can't figure out a way to solve a single problem of a one person dying seems to be he's very not.
First of all, the American education system had failed him mathematically.
Like,
let's start there.
Like, dude, there's easy ways to kill Kryptonians. I think you should be able to figure it out, Flash. But no, he's not. He's just going to go back and run directly into the same spot and get shredded over and over and over again. Not very smart.
Yeah.
I look forward to how it should have ended. That.
Oh, that's going to be great. Holy shit. Okay. That's going to be good.
Now, the one scene that got me, this was really well acted by all the participants, that really brought the whole thing, the grade up on this whole thing quite a bit, was when Barry goes back when he realizes what he has to do, and he goes back to the supermarket to remove the can from his mom's basket.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me spend 30 seconds on the whole montage that you skipped of the DC throwing us all their IPs in history.
Oh, God.
Including the original Jay Garrick Flash, yes. George Reed Superman, Christopher Reeve Superman, Helen Slater Supergirl. Don't forget Nicholas. By the way, shout out to Helen Slater Supergirl. I did not expect that to be in there. Adam West Batman with the Cesar Romero laugh. Nicolas Cage, you mentioned that. Everybody but Grant Gustin Flash, which is probably the most. If I go to Comic-Con, which I am going to, shout out to everybody, in 2 weeks, I guarantee you I will see more Grant Gustin Flash characters than this movie
and
Flash
not just
characters.
Grant Gustin, the 90s Flash, where was he?
The 90s Flash. They
did a weird Jay Garrick.
Yeah, they did. You're right.
So, can I...
You're
I
right.
want to add something because that's a pretty big insult considering they had Ezra come on to the CW Flash show.
They did.
So I don't know why,
but they couldn't
switch it around either. So anyway,
sorry, Chris.
No, you're right. I did skip it. It is awful as it is. The whole George Reeve thing George Reeves thinks is a little skeevy.
Yeah.
On top of
it's supposed to be a huge part of the movie, and I didn't want to gloss over it.
But the fact again that they chose to do more Batman, Superman heavy, and less Flash is just telling you.
They even gave us Helen Slater Supergirl. I was like,
it's telling you a lot about this movie, and it's not as heartfelt as like the Spider-Man No Way Home, which is what they were going for.
Speaking of heartfelt, so to answer your original question, because I saw Serena's reaction the first time watching it. She loved that moment because she loved the music. She loved when Barry realizes that he has to let his mother die, and I've seen it again. It was my fourth time watching it today, and I was like, it hits, and seeing someone else next to me also feel that energy. I think that was probably the best, part of the movie that had emotion.
Yeah.
Kind of came way late in the game, but
it kind of leaves you. But when you leave the theater, that's the last feeling. So I think that's what kind of ticks it up, as opposed to if it started that high and then by the end you're like, oh my god. Like, I think there's something about leaving on that end note, that high note.
Yeah.
Mike, did that hit you?
Yeah, I think so. I have to watch it again, so.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you, do you think the mom, there was a moment where it looked like she was sort of understanding what was going on?
No.
There was definitely something
in general.
No, she was just being a mom. Although Serena goes, "That's a weird dude. That's a deep hug. You just met." All right, so full disclosure, I watched it again today with Serena, and some things she picked up I didn't pick up on. She was like, "Why is she giving such a deep hug? You can clearly see he's wearing a costume with the tags. Like, does she know who he is?" And I'm like, "No."
I mean, he does not look any different than his 18-year-old self. Oh no! This is his.
This is when he's 8-year-old.
But still, like, if you look at pictures of people at that age.
So we made a joke. She probably hugged her killer too when he walked into the house with a knife in her ass because she seems so open.
But I'm assuming Barry, as a kid,
edit that part out, Mike.
He he looks like some family members. He kind of looks like an uncle or a grandfather or something, right? So there's got to be something where you see someone and you're like, there's something really familiar.
You feel comfortable with them, yeah.
Right, and then you're gonna do it's a movie, so you're gonna do that kind of natural. Otherwise, you'd be like, okay, dude, whatever, and like back away.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. The way they played it out, it really felt like she had a moment as a character. That character had a moment where they played it that she understood what something was going down. And I don't know. I'm just going to say that. And I'm saying that's a good thing. Well acted.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then we switch over and we find out the world is sort of better, but because Barry didn't leave it exactly the same,
he did learn his lesson.
Right.
I just changed the soup from here to there.
After all this, he still didn't learn the lesson, which was he changed something minor, and it had giant problems. And now he's back. His dad's free, but now we're stuck in the bad Batman universe.
By the way, shout out to the Midnight Boys who made this comment. The fact that his dad went through all those appeals when he was found with his wife in the murder weapon in her chest. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say white privilege, but damn, that dude really got off.
There's not like a timeline. Like, she was already dead 10 minutes before he got home, but we weren't sure if he had done it. But like, Barry shows up, she's alive, but she's got a knife in her chest, and her dad's sitting there.
Right there. He says, call 911.
If it doesn't matter if he was at the supermarket, he could have done it at that moment.
Yeah.
There's no timeline.
That's true.
That says he couldn't have done it right then. But
right, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. I think that's the end of the movie. Unless you want to talk about alternative universe.
No, we don't. George Clooney.
Like,
thanks.
Why didn't they get the Batman?
Your coffee and tequila's overrated.
The Batman for the Batman Brave and Bold and say, this we're entering the new world. This is your new Batman.
Right.
And then people would freak out. The internet would freak out. DCU fans would freak out. You know, why?
James Gunn could have done that. You're right. They could have, like, you know what? This is where our jumping platform is for the new Batman.
Maybe then he.
Because let's be honest, Batman is the biggest IP for DC.
You can't.
No, it's not. They know the name of the next movie.
No,
you can cast.
Yes,
the name of the movie.
And they've been holding on to this movie. They could have held on to this movie.
You can't cast somebody 2 years before you start filming.
Or
yes, you can. Yes, you can.
You can.
There's no script. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's a title.
Or here's the alternative.
You can't commit somebody. No actor's going to take this contract and say
we do the Shazam thing, and we only shoot him from the neck down.
Ben Affleck was casted 2 years before. He was casted right after Man of Steel, and in the Comic-Con they announced that they're going to be doing BVS.
They were going to start filming not in 2 years, in 2 months. There's a difference.
No, sir. We're going back to the drawing board there.
You can't cast somebody today for a movie that you might make in 4 years. So much
but they've been doing that.
So much can happen.
DC's been doing that.
Hey. They could have just cast The Rock, and it would have been all okay. Because that would have changed the game for the DC.
Yes, it would have been a very cool moment if they could do it. But I'm saying it's way too early for them to.
Then they do the Shazam. They shoot him from the neck down, and Barry
is
surprised.
They already announced the new Batman, the new Superman and Lois. That movie's not coming out for another 2 years.
Done. They're gonna start filming soon. They're gonna start filming next year.
All right.
We'll check it out.
I need grades. I need grades. All right, Mike.
E for Doodle.
What's your grade for The Flash?
Man, it's a tough one because there's some parts I really liked and there's some parts I really hate. So I'll probably have to go right down the middle and give it a C.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been sitting on this.
Nice.
I think I'm gonna go C minus. It feels low.
I'm on an island right
here.
I
feel like it could be higher, but I also feel like all the good parts are so wildly disconnected from the rest of this movie, and the movie's just not the right movie. And people are gonna you got to grade what you see. Well, I also have to grade the world we're in, and the world sucks. Yeah. So unfortunately, and that's kind of part of it. The DCU has failed the Flash the same way. So I'm going to give it a C minus. James, so A plus. You give it a.
I'm starting to see Harris Peak is leaning more and more Marvel
because it's good
and less DC. Meanwhile, I'm the biggest DC movie hater. Remember me? Why are we reviewing these movies? Boo, boo. Remember me? I'm that guy, the DC hater. Yet I have a totally different perspective on you guys. And I've seen this 4 times. Once in the movie theater, full Dolby Digital. And my quick peek grade, if I remember correctly, was a B+. It was a B+. But after watching it 3 more times since the movie release, I'm going to lower my grade. However, my grade is going to land at a solid B. I think, unlike the two of you, there was a good story and a hot mess. And that good story connected with me more than it did with the two of you, which is perfectly fine. We're all different, you know. Yeah. Obviously, I'm a huge Michael Keaton Batman fan. I love the Sasha Calle playing Supergirl. Ezra Miller, and it's sad because that's the main protagonist. However,
there were 2 of them. So if you don't like Ezra Miller, it kind of doubles that negative.
That middle act to me was a beautiful movie that could have been like like if that middle act expounded with the third act a little bit different, you cut that first third, it could have been an A+ movie.
You're literally telling me that 1/3 of this movie is great.
I'm Frankensteining this shit because to me it's still rewatchable. Like I can still watch it, fast forward.
Like I said.
Yeah. And stuff like that resonates with me. Like, all right, so real quick, I know we're running out of time. I rewatched Endgame with 2 friends of mine on July 4th, and we nitpick little bits and things here and there, like down to the fact that we thought that Cap was soft for like 2/3 of the movie, and it wasn't until he gave his speech before they time traveled, like, yeah, this is the old Cap. Then I realized, dude, we're getting so nitpicky about shit just to do it that no. So I don't want to be the guy to nitpick the fuck out of this movie because we've seen worse movies in DC, Black Adam, whatever. I just want to appreciate this movie for what it gave
Black
me,
Adam
and I'm standing.
Yes.
Yes. Black Adam's storyline is non-existent. It's a WWF WrestleMania movie with CGI.
Equal in my negatives on both of
no. They didn't have the moment that Barry had with his mom. They didn't have a Michael Keaton moment.
True.
They had zero of that. In fact, at least Zod was a threatening villain. Satan at the end reminded me of South Park Satan. It was like watching South Park Satan live action.
With you.
No, you got me.
Black Adam did not hit any emotional notes.
And no,
nothing. Zero.
You didn't like the slow walking zombies that beat up by a teenager with a skateboard.
Yeah. No. All right.
So yeah. All right. That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You got me there. Me there. Black Adam is definitely worse. Yeah. It'd be an interesting list of the worst 5 DCEU movies. All right. We'll think about that. And you, dear listener, should come to our website. We don't have a website. Come to our socials. Mike is going to tell you where our socials is, so you can tell us.
Yeah, as long as Twitter's still alive, interact with us on Twitter.
We are not on Threads yet.
Threads now. But yeah, you can find us all over the internet at Heroes Peak, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell to get notifications and leave a comment below.
And for those of you who will be going to San Diego Comic-Con this year and following us on social medias, please send me a message, DM me. I will be there myself. We'll love to interact with you guys and gals, and let's keep this family community going.
James got his red spandex. He's all ready to go.
Whoa. Pause on that.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. We will see you all soon where we get to talk about something else we love to talk about. I don't know. Could be The Witcher. Could be...
There's a lot of stuff coming out.
Indiana Jones. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows what it is. It'll be something cool. I promise you. Right. Maybe something we'll get better grades in. All right. See you later.
Good night.
Night.
Hey, Indigo made the beat.